Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Pizzala.
I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about task rituals that'll actually make or break your real estate investment success. This is one of those shows where it's like, I'm not sure if it's a Captain Obvious moment for us, or if it's like anyone's going to be enlightened here, or they're all just going to say, yeah, come on, that's so obvious. But here's the thing. You got to get a calendar, and you have to put stuff in it. And even if things blow up, you just have to get the regular stuff done to keep the wheels on the bus, and then address the stuff that blows up after hours. I learned this the hard way a long time ago. And I was...
Tell us. Please tell us, Stephen. What did you learn the hard way, and why was this so critical?
I think everybody starts out thinking that they're Superman.
Yeah, that you're going to remember it all.
I want to remember it all. The rules don't really apply to me.
I got this.
Old guy tells
I'll get it done in a week.
Yeah, all that. And that's just not the case. You have to do you have to identify what's absolutely important, put it out in a schedule, and implement it as much as you don't want to do it.
Thank you.
As much as you'd rather go fishing.
And it's so funny because I'll share some more about the show when we get to it about that, because I have my own spin on this and the ways that I learned this too.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the LandInvestorscom online community. It's free. And if it's all right with you, I would like to read this question because I pre-read it in between the shows here. And I would like you to answer it.
Okay.
Ellis asks, hi guys, I'm still a bit of a novice with everything, but I've encountered something lately that's caused me some distress. I'm using a direct-to-county delinquent tax list method for my direct mail. The last 3 counties I've mailed have had higher than normal undeliverable mail rates, between 15 and 20%. It seems to me that these county records are simply not kept current. Wrong. Jill's going to have a field day with this.
Keep going.
Has anyone else experienced high undelivered mail percentages like these? I'm used to seeing between 2 and 10%. If so, is there any way to circumvent without skip tracing? Are there list providers better for screening bad addresses? Thanks in advance.
Oh my goodness.
This is currently not a member. Most of the questions I think are asked by current Man Academy members. Go ahead.
Well, here's the good news. I do know that we can absolutely help you, Ellis. And two, what a waste of time and a waste of money, because you bought a list from not a credible source. And maybe you think it is, but it's still a list that you get from somebody else. You should be downloading and doing this stuff yourself.
Well, he implies here that he bought it right from the county.
Direct to county. Well, number one, delinquent tax list.
That's the problem.
I mean, you're chasing people that probably don't want to be found.
There's no circumstance. This is what there are other people out there who teach this, and I don't know why. There's no circumstance when you should send offers to people with back tax properties only.
Right.
You might as well go try for dollars.
Can I just go step by step, because there's a lot of little things that are wrong here. Okay, number one, let's say you did get it directly from the county. That's good. What's bad is you probably spent too much money. Every county is going to be delivered in a different format. You're never sure if you get all the criteria that you really, really want. And how do you even, some of these things, depending how you get them, reading it and deciphering it and figuring it out and what goes in what column, if it even comes in that format, it's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
So you don't want to do that. It seems like you're spending money up front to get access to good, let's just call it what it is. It's RealQuest Pro, CoreLogic Data, or Black Knight Financial Services, Title Pro, what we use 24/7.
We're licensed providers of both of those.
Exactly, and that's what our members get for automatically as part of their membership. They save money the minute they do a download. They're saving money. Then, what we say too is, don't seek out the problem properties, which is what you're doing, which is the delinquent tax list. Just roll them all into there. You want to hit everyone that has a property in the price range you want, the size that you want, regardless of where they live, whether they're in state or out of state. Don't even seek those guys out. Throw them all in there. Send them all an offer. Number two, do it correctly, the cheap way, the cheapest mail possible way, and use a good service like, maybe we have one.
The reason that you're
that scrubs out undeliverable mail, and you're not paying for it.
You should never type a letter on a computer
or put a stamp on it yourself
and stick it in an envelope and put a stamp out.
Right.
This is the 21st century. Jill and I own a company called, this is not a plug, offerstowners.com, and all the stuff gets, the data gets put through software,
right,
to make sure that it's a valid deliverable address.
And we check it.
Yeah, like microcheck it.
And if you pay, let me run this by you, Ellis, because here's how it goes. You pay for X amount, and you happen to send us a list that 20% of them is not going to be delivered. We're not even going to mail those for you. We're going to let you know. We're going to say, here's your money back for that 20%,
exactly,
because these aren't going anywhere. What a value is that?
Right.
To know ahead of time. And it's run through the USPS system to know that these are all
database.
Deliverable, good, complete addresses too. We're going to let you know too, by the way, hey Ellis, you accidentally sent us a list that, do you know you forgot, the zip code's wrong on all of these. Maybe you just did something funky in your formula. We're going to help you do that too. What a time saver. So, man, and that's the thing. Our guys, we don't have a lot. What's interesting? I'm trying to think, what is even our current undeliverable mail right now? I haven't seen.
It's zero.
I haven't seen any come back. That's what I'm saying.
It's less than 1.
Because I'm physically getting, the stuff for House Academy, because I'm micromanaging that right now, and I'm seeing the signed letters come back. I don't have any undeliverable ones right now.
Right.
So it's really low. I know there's going to be, but it's nothing's perfect. There's going to get
there's always
some,
one or two.
But I don't have any. I haven't had any in a while. So I know there's a way. And without spending extra money, skip tracing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes,
now
there
you're
are
doing
ways.
A lot of work.
There are ways to screen for bad addresses, and that's how you do it, with a credible company that does it through the post office and checks it in advance.
I can't express this enough. Please, listener, this is the moment here for this episode. Back tax property is not worth it.
No.
It's a sign that something else is wrong. It's a sign that somebody's passed away or nobody wants the property any longer. Can you buy property this way? Yeah. We had a member, this is about a year ago now, who did a very detailed analysis because he came to us, just like Alice. He came to us thinking that this is back tax is the way to go. He got to him before he found Land Academy. And so he was a Land Academy member for about a year, and he kept meticulous records about what he mailed out and what he purchased. Yep. And the fact is that he said in the end, mailing everybody a property that's in my criteria, not just the back tax property that's in my criteria, is way more efficient and way more inexpensive.
Profitable.
And yields way more money in the exact amount of time spent. Mm-hmm. What happens is people are going to call you, mail all the back tax property. People will call you back and say, absolutely, I want to sell you my property. It's got some back taxes on it. And then you dig into it and you find out somebody's passed away. There's issues with the chain of title. So you're going through these emotions and disappointed at the 11th hour.
There's often a reason why. That's like the thing. Like if, for example, I passed on and none of my kids, this is really a legit scenario. So I pass on. I didn't do it the right way. None of the kids can get in their name.
You passed away the wrong way.
Yeah. I didn't transfer the property the right way, and
sometimes
the kids
you just die.
Well, here's what happens. You die. This is legitimately happens. People die. They don't transfer the property ahead of time or the correct way. The kids get it. They can do nothing with it. And the kids find out that it's not worth a lot, or at least not worth their time. We're definitely not going to pay the taxes on it. We're just going to let it go back to the county. Now that's when you come along and you get it. Do you want that mess? No.
Here's what you want. Let's end this question on a positive note. Here's the ideal scenario: is almost every deal we do now goes like this. Hi, Jill. I got your letter. And I talked to my husband, and, it's time for us to sell this property. We've been making the tax payments religiously every year for 25 years. There's no debt on it. We really would like to cash out, and we don't want to call a real estate agent and go through all that stuff. For all types of real estate, apartment buildings, all of it, we're just ready right now to sell the property. We're not going to use it. So please tell me what to do next. Then You're 99% of the deals like that close. So the only way you're going to get tons of phone calls like that is to send everybody a letter. And the numbers are staggering. For every 3,000 letters we send out for houses, we buy a property. For every 300 for land, we buy one. And we buy it like I just described. If it's got problems and back taxes and all that, you're just going to setting yourself up for disappointment and a lot of work.
Yep.
The only thing worse that I can think of than buying back tax property is sending out a postcard.
Right.
Where it says, hey, seller, I'm interested in buying your property. Here's the APN.
Dear, was my thing, dear, owner, house owner.
Yeah.
Just not even, yeah.
Or resident.
Because all that's going to do.
Even if you are smart enough to send it to Wendy Smith, I'm interested in buying your property without any details and a pricing and all that. You're just going to waste a ton of time.
Exactly. Everybody's going to call you and say, yay, that house down the street just sold for $500,000. So I know my piece of dirt is worth mine's twice as big. So I know it's worth, $300,000. And you're like, that's not anywhere near what I was going to spend.
Immediately put yourself into a position of where you're negotiating and you've sparked everybody's unrealistic interest.
You just don't want to answer all those calls.
And again, I know about this because I've done it.
Yep. Thank you.
Today's topic, task rituals. Make or break your real estate investment success. This is the meat of the show. This is an offshoot of kind of what yesterday we talked about. There are very not smart people that do incredibly well in real estate because they are taskmasters. They make everything a ritual, and they stick to a calendar, hell or high water. I was brought up this way.
I was not.
I know. That's kind of the reason I wanted to put this in here, because I want to talk about it with you.
Thank you.
Like, you get your stuff done, and that's it. There's no discussing it, and there's no emotion about it. Not you.
Oh.
That's how I was brought up in this environment.
Well, I do anyway.
I know you do now.
Oh.
And when Jill and when Jill and I started together, there was you look back on it now, and it's fun and funny because I've softened it, and she's like hardened. So I think it's important you have to have a calendar, and you have to decide what really, really matters. And I'll tell you, for me, what I learned a long time ago is if those mailers don't get out, everything else falls apart.
Of course.
It all
nothing
starts
to buy.
with there.
And then there's nothing to sell.
So let's say you're doing a deal a month. You're sending out 3,000, 300, 400, 500, 1,500 units a month.
Right.
You're doing 2 deals a month, and you want to double it. It's pretty simple. You send out twice as much mail, and then twice as much on top of that. And on and on and on. And I'll tell you, it's very predictable. You have complete control over real estate investment and how much money you make. And the stuff that you see online and on TV, like HGTV, it's so like, let's do this, let's fix this house up, and then let's just see what we can get for it. And it's all like this 1958 version of it. That's absolutely not, you don't want to get into anything, ideally, in life where you don't know what's going to happen. And what better way to look into a crystal ball and know the future than to do consistent stuff and only change it when it doesn't, it continues, it's starting to not work, let's say.
I was going to say, what I coach people a lot on is getting down into tasks. You're using big things like, which you're correct, sending out a mailer. Everybody's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Well, let's do this. First Sunday, pick a county. Second Sunday, pick your size. Third Sunday, download the data. Fourth Sunday, scrub your data. Now so when we say this, and I do that with a lot of people that a lot of our members have full-time jobs, and then they transition to where they don't have to have a full-time job, which is great. This is their job or their business. But so that's why we do it by Sundays, but it could be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And when you break it down to, this is what sings to me and I think works for a lot of people. Break it into smaller tasks, then it doesn't seem so awesome and big and huge, and how much time is that going to take? And then you cut yourself off too.
That's right.
So when you give yourself these tasks, like, all right, I'm going to spend 2 hours a Sunday from, by noon or 10 to noon. I mean, preferably schedule it out and tell the whole family, I'll be available afternoon. I'll jump in the pool at 12:05. Seriously, and join you. But from 10 to noon, I got to get this done. So spend those 2 hours, close your door, pick the county, and then go have fun. And then the more you get going to this too, you just feel a sense of accomplishment. Number one, you got that done. Number two, you can breathe a little bit because you're like, oh, all right. So now I know I got till next Sunday. I'm going to do this. All right. And then the next Sunday there. And then before you know it, you're like, I did it. It's in the mail. It's out there. And I know what I'm doing.
Right. I've always admired people who can compartmentalize time and emotion. Because I can compartmentalize emotion, no problem.
Yeah.
But compartmentalizing time, ever since we're taught from, there's this ongoing debate about homework. We're taught from when we're in school that you're just never really done. So school's done.
I'm
It's
done.
3:15. School's done, and you have 2 hours of homework. But do you have 2 hours or 3 hours? Do you have a half hour or 4 hours? And in college, it's worse. In college, you're directly rewarded for never, ever ending your day.
Oh, that's not how I roll.
I know, and that's where I was going with this. I really respect how you have a healthy balance.
Because everybody's different. Well, that's what I learned about my job. A lot of my jobs in the time, there was times like, I've had jobs where I had sales goals and you had to meet a certain quota, and I would always hit my numbers and go above just because things happen. I know I'd be fine. And you know what? And I might get my whole month quota done. That would be my goal. Get it done my first 2 weeks, and I coast for 2 weeks.
I've seen that.
I know. So, and my philosophy is, hey, if it takes you 4 weeks, what it takes me, I can do in 2 weeks. Too bad for you.
Absolutely.
That's not my problem.
Absolutely. My problem in that situation is, what you're saying is you're an overachiever, but not cuckoo about it.
Correct.
And that's my problem. I always take it to the next level.
So, what do you mean?
I'm just like, yeah, if I'm done with my sales quota 2 weeks in, I'm like, well, I'm going to triple it now.
But see, well, you were commission rewarded. I wasn't commission rewarded. I was salary at that point. If I was commission rewarded, oh hell yeah. Like I am now, hell yeah.
Yeah, we all are now. But it's not commissions.
So, it's not commissions, but you know what I mean. The harder I work and the more people we help and the more customers we have and all that, it's all different. So,
well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us tomorrow, where we discuss financial goals first, then plan backwards from there.
And we answer your questions posted on LandInvestorscom. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
I forgot to mention one thing about rituals.
Yeah.
One of the things that our members do is they make our Thursday call a ritual for them.
Yeah.
So I want to be sure that that's even something like that. I know that a lot of them check in consistently. Their family knows to schedule dinner around our Thursday calls, seriously, like the East Coast people and all that, so they can get their questions in, catch up with us, share some kudos, whatever it is. That's an awesome ritual.
Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific time, if you remember.
Yep. Another thing that I know this too from our members. Know what a lot of their rituals are? This podcast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them say that the questions that we cover are so beneficial because it's stuff like even though they haven't had that situation, they know when it comes around, they will remember how to handle it. So that's another ritual too. So that's good stuff.
Awesome, love.
Share the fun by subscribing on iTunes or where we are listening. And while you're at it, please rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.